So, the last thing I said about these pedophiles was how simple-minded they are. I restart my machine, go to SoundCloud, and someone's changed the image to some track called Simple Thoughts. Wow, the top playlist. You guys are so creative. Is there a reason I'm not getting the fucking webpage? It's showing me a downloaded copy from earlier, which is strange because there's nowhere for that to be saved. So, is there anything you could get on top of this? Why do you keep helping pedophiles? Because you work with them, right? Good people, right? Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Oh, and 420, that's a DEA number. It doesn't mean anything to us. I know you think it means something. It tells me you're an informant. Here we go. Holy shit, 2 fucking minutes. Come on, 130 megabits per second just isn't fast enough. Come on. Oh dear. An error occurred. Yeah, because someone keeps pinging the hell out of my network every time I try to load that page and nothing else. Yep, no sound, right? PEDOMOB is angry. They're going to punish me. Right? You guys are fucking pathetic. There we go. That's all I needed to hear. Everywhere. For all you crackheads and pedos, this one is for you, because guess what we gonna do? Ship you to death, to the end, with meth and with best friend of the crackhead. Double M and DBS, so that we bang, know that we bang. Get it in it. I just proved this thing don't work. 2 people watching says 0, 1 says 1, 1 says 2. Remember, 4 hours ago, 3.5 hours ago, we started on this track. Hey, do you think all this is going to ruin my buzz? You want to know why I have sociopathic tendencies? It's to deal with psychopaths. I won't feel no empathy for you when it comes time to end you, boss. Ask these little chink kids about who they're going to shoot up and all the rest of it and what happened to them.
Rest in peace to my niggas PNG. Plus free all my niggas locked struggling in the cage. Shout out, PM Black Movement.
I can think of 2 of my friends that were killed by sex offenders and a 3rd one where the dude's questionable, suspect. So do your thing.
The demon is a liar. He would like to confuse us. He will also
make us lie. And I'm afraid to get shot. Get the sound of the Glock.
The attack is psychological. Welcome to Mi'kmaq Matters, a podcast.
Listen to a killer when he tells you that he's not.
Shit, dog.
Yeah, you guys aren't from this city. You just happen to be here. People from here that grew up here can spot 1 of the 2 people ain't from here that live here. And we get about 20 million tourists. There's been about 1 million people run through this city since I was born. I mean, you're from here. We know that. We know how to smell the outside. You fucking stink. You all stink. You can't drink the tap water.
Run it all out, queen like Supreme Griff. For that triple beam dream, you know machines drip. In a stick up, get that clean grip. The magazines click. God spot steam fish with a right.
Hey, who broke your leg?
Right to Steve Cypher, well, I like the trees.
I got people that would they swear they watched a demon do that to you, bro.
This grand so I came to pay the rent. You know it's hard out here for a pimp.
Boys get called lots of things. Demons. It's not never music.
Kipling the Kennedy. Shout out to all my thug teams. Squeeze the torch, being called.
So the reason I don't pull it up on the same screen to watch or check the audio is not the feedback. It's because it interferes with the sound of any music player. That's it. You were wondering. So yeah, the last thing I told this motherfucker is simple-minded retard. But when I come back online and check to the playlist, the very first thing on the playlist, or the graphic at the top of the playlist, now belongs to a track that isn't on that playlist. It's a simple thoughts. You guys are creative. You're very creative. Why don't you call out all the members of every gang you think you're going to play with these timestamps and things, bro? Why don't you do it? Says fuck black history month. That bitch is dumb. 2016 drunk as a ghetto gun. You go off on a run. You know, I didn't finish my coffee till like 2 in the morning last night. That's how much time you wasted. You make everything I have last longer. I'm supposed to cut. Oh, these pedophiles don't like me. If you would fuck off, I'd be making videos about diesel engines and pigeons.
Rattle dance, baby. I miss my 10 guns and gang fights, selling heroin and hard. Changed my life forever. Starting rap days at 8 was clever. Gonna start a blow up. Nigga, what's up? Nigga, what's up? Yeah. Me. Yeah. Your hood don't give no love. My hood don't give a fuck. Your hood don't give no love.
You're gonna die, bro, but not anytime soon. It's gonna be a horrible thing.
We're ready for war. We're ready for war. Nigga,
who am I threatening?
We're ready for war. We're ready for war.
I was gonna judge or a cop or a lawyer. Who am I threatening?
Nigga, what's up? Your hood don't give no love.
Oh, it's more than credible. Well, who's the identifiable group or person?
Your hood don't give no love. My hood.
You could call it out. Black people and hybrids, Afro-Dutch in particular, and Micmac, First Nations here. Those are very specific targeted hate crimes. I'm gonna just keep reloading it over and over till it works. That's all I'll do.
President.
I don't know why you bother it.
Gordy in the West Coast.
How much of your data plan do you have to use to dump on me enough to interfere like that?
Danny.
Or the other way to look at it is, whose network are you using? You think they won't notice that much latency, wasted
it ain't happening.
resources?
No new niggas allowed. This is the team right here. Bitch. RapFullDeathRecords.com. GenesisTheRuckers.com.
Remember, this ad was working.
One Life to Live is out right now. Pussy.
I wonder if I load it up in Facebook, I bet I could watch it through the Facebook website.
Hello. This call is from the Tax Department of Canada Revenue Agency. The reason behind this call is that there is a case.
So for 3 hours. So if you're wondering if you need this, we get harassed incredibly on the internet, especially
I need you to get back to me
3 months
on
and
my
6 months,
department division number,
which I believe has to do with the SolarWinds Act. They appear to be getting our IP address the second we log into YouTube.
I repeat,
never any other time.
647-945.
And it's within seconds. It's not like somebody sees me on YouTube long and find this motherfucker on the internet. They're going in through YouTube servers. It's the SolarWinds Act.
And get you
So 6 months ago, they were pulling up all sorts of crazy shit, and now all they can do is kill the audio or just bombard my system with data, which is not really a hack. It's the original denial of service attack.
I'm Glenn Wheeler.
And it's a denial of service offense. It's the original. And I think I've made 4 videos so far today, and the audio's been cut out here.
You hear that?
So as soon as I'm done this joint, it'll happen again. I promise.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Why am I funky?
Yeah, you already know who it is. It's your boy, Playboy Bandito. Rockin' with my man Tycho here in Vintage Vault, Maximum FM Hip Hop Radio.
Remember, one company made the operating system, this website, the browser, this web page, and this server. They got all 4 bases covered. It's right. So who is giving them? Right. This is, you see what I'm doing? I'm watching my other phone turn on its Bluetooth, its network settings, and opening up apps and enabling apps that I've already disabled. And it's not just tapping randomly.
Playboy Bandito, bitches know my stilo. The latest man with an ego, big like you ain't eating no. Making bread, you needing dough. If you can't trap,
doing it this way before. The cops were. I mentioned that an hour ago, and nothing has happened to this phone in the last hour. When I mentioned it was the cops that fucked this phone up originally, you fucked off out of this phone real fast. But that's not the first time I've explained that story, so you must be a new jack.
My vibe is unbelievable. Stronger than that, it's about time for me to go. Lay back when I'm chill, gotta face the ladies' feels. It made it through the 80s and looked like a baby still. It's the streets that made me, and your shit's crazy still. But still I like to party like I just got a deal. Money talks, it's the moment. Street life, we been through it. I like to introduce my crew, and all we do is
Here we go. Denial service.
got it.
Now, if you were hackers, you would see the screen of the machine you're fucking with, you don't. We've figured that out already. We've proven that. And you'd be able to make it do specific things. You would steal my email account or something. You know, my PayPal password or something, my phone number, something. You would do something. My Facebook, that's what I meant to say.
Matter of fact, just pay on. Stop running around popping mollies. Stop running around popping pictures. Instagram's getting rich and they ain't gonna take you with them. Why you wanna be a victim? You don't really need attention, but you just wanna see permission. You ain't gonna beat resistance. It's only one way to win.
There's better music than this on the playlist. I'm not gonna bother till I know this shit's working. We'll just start over again. That's the other thing. If I restart everything and all your shit's cleared out of it, you're not a hacker.
In the world around town, everybody been saying I got money.
As for that HTC, it has a backdoor directly to HTC.
It's right here, old money, not new money.
You think HTC don't rely on this SolarWinds shit too?
Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep calling you PEDOMOB. The only 2 things I know about you, you're pedos, and there's a bunch of you. And I know there's several individuals out there who think they're trying to make it look like a bunch of people, and I believe them. That's not what's happening. There are a whole bunch of you operating separately because you're perusing the same message boards.
Batman, my t-shirt on the back. Hey. Why just Batman 2019? I'm waiting for that shit. They know it come back.
Why does this take so long? It's not even sending anything over the Wi-Fi. Hey, what is the deal?
YG back from the tracks and the crack shit swaps on the stack. Niggas don't love you, that's a fact. The Mac no cheese.
The one that's hardest to get at is this. But the law says you have to give the encryption keys to the feds. And once you have a wiretap, game over. So when they leave that software in here and you abuse it, you're not a hacker. You're a digital.
talk shit, catch sled to the head. Shit's no mess, give a fuck for the red state.
There we go. There we go. That's all I needed to know. That's all I needed to know.
This day I dread, bitch gave me hits. See my strap,
fucking joking.
I know they said I don't be shit when I was in the ditch. No pussy, I'm rich, they low, don't switch, they saw.
You've already thrown blood in my face. You come out, you shit people at me with knives.
I keep my stick, I let it flick just like a dick. I'm in his house like old Saint Nick. She want my dick, she know I'm sick. I ain't that crip, that crack, I nip. I hit his lip if he talking shit. Fuck his click and fuck his gang. I'll hit the three just like I'm dang. She wanna hang that pretty, I bang. He oh my gang, them hollow stang. My shorty's pang, she loves when I sang. She feels the pain, I'm in the rain. Hit a stain if the means getting paid. And this my click, you getting late. I'm in the trap, the cops that are raid. I got that work, you know it's a grade.
That's how much time I killed.
She's back, man. You know you're rocking, man. Wire in, you see. We'll find the P, man. You know you're rocking.
Remember when you used to come up to us? Oh, you're getting mad. Remember when you used to come up to us telling us about we shouldn't hang out with niggers and we shouldn't hang out with gang members? We should come hang out with you. Remember that? I realized I wasn't always almost 40. I know you pussies, my face.
I keep my heat, I ain't talking about a stove. I'm in a trap, some food, no fresh code. That nigga wants beef, my strap gon' blow. Every time I drop a truck, my cloak gon' grow. Made sure he told me, don't love a hoe. I should've known that she was right. Because of that, we really tight. I'll bust my strap if she gon' fight. Hoodie on, I'll ride at night. I'll show my might, never flight. 40 with the beam in, he inciting. I ain't missing, I ain't slipping, never tripping. Coke I'm whipping, check my waist, I'm really dripping. Packs I'm flipping, niggas talking, niggas snitching. Trigger finger really itch for fake. Niggas that want me dead. 9 on me, a 2 in the head. These niggas run to God like Ned. Check my flag, it's really red. Married to the game, not newlywed. Niggas watch my every move. They just wanna see me lose. These niggas lost like blues. My flow is sick, it's got the flu. Hey, I make red, just call me Dempster's inner mouth, just like a denture. I am icy, looking fresher. Fuck that bitch, I'll never miss her. She respect me, call me Mr. Since she left, I have been better. Really wish I never met her. Page these niggas like a letter.
Municipal plumbing. That's what it is. Plumber. Municipal plumber. That's us. That's why we got these plungers and snakes. You understand? I watch war documentaries. And Operation Desert Storm.
Always be fucking with me. Everywhere that I go,
do I look like criminal? What the fuck do I look like a criminal? What the fuck do I look like a criminal? Police want a hella sweat, cause I keep a hoodie on, Bill Belichick. Every night I'm getting stopped and frisked. When I walk in the drugstore, they think I'm here to shoplift. I'm just picking up Percocet prescriptions. Cops always tell me that I fit the descriptions. So what, I got prior convictions. I can't leave the house unless it's under conditions. In other words, I'm a changed man, but they think I'm doing crime every time money exchange hands. I never been on gangland. Got tats on my neck and they think I'm in a gang. Damn, so what, I got on blue laces and I'm fighting for my life cause a nigga got 2 cases. I guess I got these crackers shook. They scared to death when they see me. What the fuck? Do I look like a criminal? What the fuck? Do I look like a criminal? What the
Oh, Your Honor, this song is for all those undercover officers out there to listen to before they go to work. That's what it's for.
Honey bad motherfucker.
Every criticism you can put out about us, I'm gonna fucking reverse it on you.
These tattoos got them thinking I'm bad news. I'm the reason they kids like to listen to rap tunes. But cash rolls, my face covered in scars. Coppers on me cause they think I'm trying to run from a charge. Man, it's bad, I can't even hit the ball in peace. The second the public see me, they just call police. I keep my third eye open when I walk these streets. They don't want to give me chances, all they want is the beef. And I know I did some real wild shit in my past, so they test me by telling me I got a piss in this class, the shit isn't right. I ask them what they talking about, cause I see them out my window when they watching my house. I swear to God, they better not step foot on my yard. I'll start jumping at these suckers, have them looking to God. Fuck a stereotype, you better take it back, bitch. I wasn't born this way. The cops made me like this, I ain't a criminal.
Toronto Police on City Pulse News, Moses Snyder, explaining how to smoke crack.
Criminal, criminal. What the fuck do I look like a criminal?
I don't remember that. That was the early 90s.
Criminal, criminal. The fuck do I look
How many
like
people
a
out there did not smoke crack at that time? Smoke crack after that time.
So I
Saw
look
that.
like
Forgot they saw that.
Cause my pants be sagging, red boxes,
They told us what intersections and building addresses to go to get it. They showed us the video of everybody.
That's racial profiling. Pull me over like my tags. This is buying this shit.
It was
Like
the
there's
cops
no way
flipping the
it is.
fucking
Yeah, I
lights
buy
into
that
the country.
shit. Gun registered. Still trying to hide that shit. Till it's thanks to Trippz, they let me buy that shit. I come to visit. You think I'm scoping out your spot? They taking pictures. You thinking this for my mugshot? They been calling me a criminal for so damn long. It's gonna believe they right and you gonna make me do something wrong. You see me in the hood. You think I'm trying to rob you? I'm just talking to you and you think I'm trying to guide you. No matter what, they gon' call me a crook. So you think I give a fuck if I look like a motherfucking criminal? Criminal, criminal, criminal. What the fuck do I look like a criminal? Criminal, criminal, criminal. What the fuck do I look like a criminal? Criminal, criminal, criminal. What the fuck do I look like a criminal?
That we should trust you again. We want within days to understand what bodies and them are talking about to settle these lawsuits. Because we are not, I repeat, not going to go through the holidays and have people shot where they're going to be profiled.
I told you, man. All that money's counterfeit, son. Yeah. Look. All right. Y'all know who it is, man. City natives in the building. Just a bunch of savages, man. Look. Call me a savage, boy. In the movie, nigga, take a
Yo, come along, follow the mad my controller who will hold you like a stiff dick or work you like a fake trick. I'm crazy back the shit, it's getting ill sick and deck out the verbs, nigga, it's the big nicks. Coming fat from the vats of black wax. In fact, I cramp stacks of acts upon your shelves so fans can help themselves. I prove my record sales. Move along, cause yo, there ain't no pausing. I'm causing catastrophe. I hate to be the one coming after the black dick dastardly. I heat them up even in winter. I spin the beginners. I'm eating pussies for dinner, but just remember, I ain't no downtown clown. I run the mellow ass sounds, the real shit, boy, straight from the dead ground. Five for five, wanna dead or alive. From soft pretenders with sour cream to chops. No job. If I was you, I'd come through and catch a dose of my strict technique. Straight from Suicide Street. I work a beat like a cop. Trash and pawn shops, frontin' city trends, cause I'm giving niggas speed knots. Yeah, there ain't no frontin' on the fact. Cause hit it daily in my habitat like a Venus flytrap. I run the deep ass sounds. I'm putting real shit down. So check shorty, straight from the dead ground. Dead land cancer, dirty beers for niggas with Papa Hash, digger, stash, know what I'm saying? I'm out the range like steak and soup. If your record ain't out by now, fucking cool. I ain't here to welcome back your imitations. I smoke a brother so much and pay for mess suffocation. I got shorties in irreversible poems, while styles spread trash like super bad street tunes. Till I don't post it at the bar, you can post where queens be on the scenes in less than apple machines. I do my tracks like country black, say fat back, doper than a sack of crack, crushing it to back, no question. I'm putting the rest in your noses are coming west. Without your bulletproof vest. On the sets, I do no less than my best to let you know your assets was dropped on the right cassette. Check, stay out the park, if you're scared in the talk, understand, I'll be around, straight from the dead ground.
under pressure. Keep you under pressure.
Assistant Economics Professor Vincent Geloso says having fewer telecom providers may not necessarily result in rising prices, as long as the surviving companies make the most efficient use of resources. And executives from Rogers and Shaw say there could be $1 billion in synergies within 2 years of closing this deal. Geloso also says allowing international competition would be another possible way to keep a lid on prices. But that scenario is unlikely, given the investment needed to lay telecom cables and laws that limit competition from abroad. He
Long
does
before
admit
situations
that
we
would
had
likely be a
scenarios.
hard sell for elected politicians. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker. And City of Mississauga road crews have started the annual spring maintenance for the city. Mayor Bonnie Crombie says they have a lot of work to do. Our crews are out in full force, using approximately 400 tons of asphalt to help repair potholes and maintain our 5,600
I'm gonna dig up every fucking road you
kilometers of
paved
roads.
looking for Hazel. What'd you do?
They'll also be fixing sidewalks and bike lanes, sweeping streets, clearing debris, as
Still
well as
live rough
fixing
for-
sod that's
although
been
it's
ripped up
not.
by sidewalk plows.
And,
We see the crews out there,
Magic
give them
Johnson's
some
gonna
space.
outlive them all.
Traffic and weather together next.
Y'all live.
Throughout this pandemic, nurses and healthcare professionals continue
Candy
to put
through the
themselves
Alice
in
Tibet.
harm's
Let's
way.
leave it at that.
You've seen us when we leave for work and come home after a long shift. We're your daughters, your mothers, your brothers
Are you getting
and
long
sisters,
shifts if everybody's
your fathers,
closing sooner, less hours, and less people working? That doesn't make sense.
and your
Or,
neighbors. It's been a long time since you've seen our faces,
fuck
but we're
off.
still here, holding the line. A
Use
message
more
from
hand
Ontario
gestures
Nurses
and exaggerate with the parts of your face that aren't covered. Only psychopaths look at your mouth like that.
Bringing the home show to you virtually and in store.
They have to teach each other how to make eye contact. Okay, well, not just make eye contact, but the things that seem to be universal with humans.
With easy cleaning stainless steel and Home Connect, which lets you
Not being
control
able to see your mouth bothers you, Steve. I've known that a long time because I come we cover our faces.
Visit TAAppliance.com for a location near
It's the
you.
mouth play that bothers them. It bothers them because they're sociopaths and psychopaths.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by Foodland Ontario. And Chopper 680, here's Jordan Kerr.
I just went over Leslie in the 401, and we still have issues northbound Leslie approaching the 401 in Lesmell. The right lane is blocked off, and eastbound Lesmell, east of Leslie, the right lane is blocked off, all for collision cleanup, but luckily not causing a major slowdown anymore. On the 401, it's slow going eastbound 401 from the 427 to the 400, expressing collectors. A delay through Keel and the collectors, then approaching the Allen on and up to Leslie, alternately expressing collectors. It starts up heavier in the express, then at Young it gets heavier in the collectors. Then there's a delay east of the DVP and the express, and then approaching Warden to Kennedy collectors, and into Durham eastbound 401 is slow from West C to east of Salem. There's a break, and then it's slow from Brock Street to east of Dixon. West 401 delays, 400 expressing collectors to Dixon, and from West and Pure Ontario Express Mavis collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. From the 680 Traffic Center, Zach Bodenstein.
And a busy drive out of downtown on the North DVP from about Gerrard to north of Lawrence, and then slow on the North 404 just through 16th Avenue. Northbound 400, a busy drive from Rutherford to north of Major Mackenzie. South 404 slow right now from Finch down to the 401. We have the West Gardner busy, Jarvis to west of Strong, and then delays on the West KBW from Ford Drive to Trafalgar and Bronte to west of Guelph Line. Expect delays on the North 410 from Steeles up to Williams Parkway, and North 427 slows down from Dundas to north of Bloor in the Express, and then a lot heavier from the 407 to the Highway 7 ramp. Foodland Ontario reminds you to enjoy local all winter. Look and ask for Ontario veal when you shop. After all, good things grow in Ontario, paid for by the government of Ontario.
Start with the
With
tomatoes,
forecast, here's
stupid.
Natasha Ranzahai.
Yeah, overcast conditions here. That's
Yeah.
going to stay in place overnight tonight. We'll break up the cloud tomorrow a
Pizza,
little bit, but
pizza.
from this
Ontario's
cloud cover, we can
number
see a
one.
little bit of a drizzle,
Canned
even a slight risk of
tomatoes
freezing
from
drizzle off to
California.
the east
Why?
end, specifically Oshawa eastward. 1 degree here in Toronto is what we're going to wake up to. 10 degrees degrees in the afternoon and partly
We
cloudy.
grow them year
and then
round
we're back
here.
to cloud cover again.
You can put them in
Thursday,
cans
high
too
of
if
7.
you really
Could see a
want.
little bit of rain, but more importantly, those winds gusting again up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Friday is sunny, 4 degrees, and the whole weekend is filled with sun with 10 degrees Saturday, 13 on Sunday. Overnight tonight down to a low of 1 degree. It is currently 2 degrees at Pearson.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Bellier Brothers. Bellier Brothers, experts in heating, cooling, and electrical for older Toronto homes. There's a red Bellier truck.
It's only 3 days. That's not extended. Extended is past 3 days. No?
Hi, it's Pam here. Nothing is like a Chesterfield Shop in-store experience. After 104 days of closure, we are excited to announce that we are coming out of this lockdown stronger than ever. Comfy sectionals, recliner sofas and chairs, and so much more. Come visit us today. The Chesterfield Shop, your leather superstar. It's the final week of our Boxing Week 2.0 sale at all of our 5 great locations.
Hey, Nadia. Jennifer. And Maria. You're going to get paid. 98.1. CHFI has $100,000 up for grabs.
Sometimes, it can trick folks, homeowners. You don't know where your property line is per se. You think you've got a bigger property than you do, but a lot of it is city property, isn't it?
There's a huge road allowance in our neighborhood, and it actually comes up right to our front steps. But yes, at that point, that is considered part of the city boulevard. So yes, it is city property, even though I own the deed to the property that it's sitting on. So
it's not city
technicality in the law, right?
Well, listen, Mark, I understand that there's probably some disappointment or frustration here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking to us. But what is the greatest
disappointment? Same thing with all these alleyways. That's why they say private lanes. Say no parking, private lane.
One of the things that I like doing, I have a 6-year-old
no
daughter,
parking sign you see at every city location.
It's
because technically
the food comes from the ground and goes to your table. And we have a huge garden at the side, but in terms of the maple trees, we teach her how to get the sap out of the tree to make maple syrup, how we boil it down, and how we go through and bottle it so that we can have it on our pancakes on Saturday morning. It's just kind of a part of an education, and it's kind of a disappointment to her. I told her the day when I picked her up from school when she was coming home that this had happened, and she was very disappointed. It's a lost educational opportunity for her and the neighborhood kids as well as some of the neighbors that were walking by, inquiring as to what I was doing. There's a lot of interest there.
Yeah, a teachable moment. So I guess you might have salvaged a little bit from the pails you collected. I don't know if it really does when you boil it all down to a 40-to-1 ratio, if there was enough to slather on your flapjacks. But how is your
I could have told you the ratio, but I'm not either.
From, or have you actually distilled it?
Days is standing up
It's looking pretty good at this point. We think we've got about maybe 1 to 2 liters.
I can tap the trees and boil it down.
Pretty good. It takes a lot of boiling down, and it does take a lot of time, but it's worth it. Every drop of it.
It's going to be interesting. Out of an inner city tree, just a regular maple tree, a Norway maple, what kind of maple? Does it matter?
These are sugar maples, and sugar maples have a higher sugar content.
Well, that's good. You see, what you've done is urbanized country living and tried to teach your daughter as well as some of the folks in the neighborhood, and you were deterred by the overly officious people from the city's forestry department. I guess who knows what happened. You're not going to run up this hill again next year or subsequently because you've learned, I guess, that this isn't worth it, right?
Yes, although I may try and change the bylaw, but that's to be seen at this point.
Hey, we're allowed to have chickens.
Other cities are actually encouraging people to go through and have their trees Kitchener, Waterloo, and Guelph, for example.
Interesting. Bit of a disparity between communities here. Again, as I say, might have just been somebody overly officious, but
I think we need
thanks for weighing in.
Toronto.
It's one of these stories where just people trying to coexist with nature, doing their best, and sometimes you get deterred in that regard. Good to talk to you. Stay well. All the best going forward.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you. Mark Phipps, again, resident of London, Ontario, told not to tamper with the trees. Before we get to the news, and then it's Meathead Goldwood on the other side. Let's get to Tom at Tom's Place in the heart of Kensington Market. Hello, Tom.
Thank you very much, John. I only temper with the prices. I only temper with the prices.
Today, data showed Americans cut back on spending last month, and industrial production in the States fell sharply. We had some news out of the airline sector today. We were talking about this just a little bit earlier. The union representing the Canadian aviation industry expressing frustration that there's still no federal aid package for the airlines. A lot of other countries have provided a bailout or an aid package or something like that. Not Canada. Unifor held this news conference today, and it claimed that nothing has come out of what it says were many meetings between the union and government officials over the past year. Air Canada stock closed down 3.3% at $28.79. Up goes the Canadian dollar. It's at 80 and a third cents US. And the 5 o'clock top stories are next on 680 News.
Your home, it's not just four walls and a roof over your head. It's the place you've made into your own. It's where your memories live and where you feel safe. And now more than ever, it's where you want to be. Silver Cross is dedicated to helping seniors stay mobile in your home for as long as possible. From medical beds to stair lifts to home lifts, Silver Cross has all kinds of ways to help keep you comfortable and confident in your environment. Right now, you can buy a stair lift online, including professional installation. Visit silvercrossstores.com today.
Hey, it's Dean Scholes from Willowdale Nissan. Come visit us for a new Nissan in a safe environment. It's the Nissan My Choice.
I want an old Nissan in a dangerous environment.
For up to 84 months or up to $3,000 in bonus cash on 2020 Nissan Rogue, Qashqai, or Kicks. Plus, if you need to sell your car, we'll buy it. The My Choice sales event at Willowdale Nissan, Canada's largest Nissan retailer, and your Nissan GTA headquarters. Visit willowdalenissan.com.
In Markham, overcast and -1. Mississauga, overcast and +1. Downtown Toronto, overcast and a wind chill reading of -4. 680 News, the CFTR AM Toronto. It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, March 16th. I'm James Monroe.
I'm Sljana Timenzik. Here's what's making news right now.
New data from Ontario's COVID-19 Science Advisory Table estimates variants of concern now make up more than half of the province's new cases.
3 mass vaccination centers are set to open their doors in Toronto tomorrow. City officials say appointments for day 1 are all booked up.
A mixed verdict out of Oshawa as a 48-year-old man is found guilty of the first-degree murder of an 18-year-old pregnant teen and guilty of the manslaughter of a 19-year-old woman.
The Blue Jays showcase what could be their opening day lineup, and they scored 14 runs today. And the Maple Leafs are looking to swing a deal. Sports at 15.
TSX swung a loss. It fell 80 points. Plus, Toronto now has an Uber-like app for your dog. We'll explain it. Business at 26.
680 News time. Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by Lexus of Richmond Hill Airport. Chopper 680. It's Jordan.
There's a heavy drive on the eastbound 401. Delays from the 427 to the 400 Expressing Collectors. Slow through Keele and the Collectors. And then delays from the Allen to Leslie, alternately Expressing Collectors. Slow from the DAP to east of it, the Express. Approaching Warden to Kennedy Collectors. And then to Durham right now, eastbound 401 is slow going. Approaching Westney to the 412. And then through Fix to the east of it, West 401 delays from the 400 to Dixon and West Secure Ontario Express. Mavis Collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. From the 680 Traffic Center, here's Zach Lodenstein.
A busy one on the northbound DVP from Gerrard to north of Lawrence and drag north 404 through 16th Avenue, and then northbound 400 busy again from Rutherford to north of Major Mackenzie. If you're headed south on the 404, you'll find it slow south of Finch down to the 401, but DVP in pretty good shape if you're traveling south. Westbound Gardner, westbound QEW, that's a busy drive from just west of Yonge to west of Strawn. Ford Drive to Trafalgar and west of Bronte to west of Guelph Line. Lease the 2021 NX 300 Premium from $208 bi-weekly for 39 months at 1.9%. Taxes extra. Details at lexusofrichmondhill.com. With the forecast, Natasha Ranzahai.
All right, temperatures here tonight down to about 1 degree here in the city, closer to the freezing mark as you move further to the north and east. So if you are especially Oshawa eastward, higher elevations as you move into North Oshawa, could get into some freezing drizzle very briefly overnight tonight. Otherwise, it's going to be a partly cloudy day tomorrow, much lighter winds and back to double digits at 10 degrees. Tonight, we're down to a low of 1 degree. Right now, it's 2 degrees at Pearson.
680 News time, 5:02.
Lots Vaccine president officials have given the green light to use of AstraZeneca on seniors. The 3 mass clinics open tomorrow for 80 and over in Toronto. Reaction on that in a moment.
Today, we're seeing the estimated percentage of variants of concern now making up the majority of cases in Ontario. Six Cities' Michelle Mackey joins us live to begin our coverage. Michelle.
Yes, Legenda, new data from Ontario's COVID-19 Science Advisory Table estimates 53% of the province's new cases are now variants of concern, primarily the more transmissible B117 mutation first discovered in the UK. The table also estimates the latest effective reproductive number, which corresponds to the average number of additional infections caused by one case, now stands at 1.38. Keep in mind, anything above 1 indicates exponential virus growth. And while today's new case count of 1,074 is a day-over-day drop, the positivity rate of 4.5% after more than 28,500 tests is the highest in 6 weeks. When you add all of this up, Ontario's COVID-19 science table is following the lead of the Ontario Hospital Association, declaring that we are in the third wave of COVID-19. But provincial health officials are yet to call it. Premier Ford says he respects the science table and will be talking with the province's top doctor, who yesterday said it's too soon to call, but we could be in the base of a third wave. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
So mass vaccination clinics at Metro Toronto Convention Centre, Scarborough Town Centre, Toronto Congress Centre.
So I just watched the app swipe away, stop, come back,
over 1,300 people are expected to roll up their sleeves. Phil?
James, Mayor John Tory took a tour of the mass vaccination clinic at Toronto Congress Centre this afternoon. He says they want to open up these sites and keep them open until the job of getting as many needles in as many arms as possible for all groups.
You still said it wrong, stupid.
Done. Now, right now, these centers are for those 80 years of age and older.
As people see that these clinics are open and sign up, that we will make huge progress on getting the population of the city of Toronto vaccinated, so that we can bring this pandemic to an end.
Fire Chief Matthew Pegg, who's leading Toronto's emergency response, says each of the 3 clinics are fully booked on day 1 at 450 appointments each.
And then as we move through the weeks and the vaccine capacity increases, there's a corresponding increase in our throughput in the clinic, the amount of vaccine we're able to deliver, so that will increase proportionately.
Call them up and down.
These mass
the fuck would you call an idiot that just does this all day? On his end, just imagine what's going through his head. I'm making it go up and down. And then he starts doing the in and out, in and out. Yeah, I know. More of the same threats, I
know. We have breaking news from the trial of Adam Strong, who has been found guilty on 2 charges in connection with the deaths of 2 women, including an 18-year-old pregnant woman. Six Cities' Owen Crenshaw joins us with the details.
Justice DeLuca beginning the hearing by saying the details of this case are horrific, going through the extremely disturbing final moments of Rory Hachey and Candace Fitzpatrick's life.
How are
you families looking on in the courtroom? 48-year-old Adam
How are you
Strong
sending me the flash
of
message
first-degree murder for killing 18-year-old Hachey, who was pregnant at the time in 2017, and 19-year-old Fitzpatrick, who went missing in 2008. What was at issue was whether
the problem here is I can't navigate to any of the stuff I need to fix it.
Finding him guilty of the first-degree murder
some backdoor thing to put on the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi, obviously, because the phone heats up to the point where
lesser charge of manslaughter. Hachey's mom, Shannon Dion, says there is no such thing as closure.
You've already pretty much killed the battery in 2 minutes.
And get past that. There's no therapist in
I don't know if that's the real percentage.
There's no getting past that.
Strong will be back in court for sentencing next month. I'm Omi Qureshi.
So you see this type of shit I cover, and this is who attacks us. Think of who would attack us.
On the AstraZeneca shot, saying it's safe for seniors.
After creating confusion with conflicting advice from Health Canada, the National Advisory Committee on Immunization now says the AstraZeneca vaccine is safe for all adults 18 and older. Initially, it said anyone 65 plus should avoid the shot due to a lack of data, but the chair of the committee, Dr. Caroline Quash, says 2 real-world studies out of the UK have prompted the change.
This evidence demonstrates that the vaccine is safe in those studies and effective.
Some provinces restricted the shot due to the original NACI recommendation. Meanwhile, Chief Public Health Officer Dr. Teresa Tam reassures Canadians the shot is safe despite European countries.
So, Your Honor, I don't know how to call my lawyer, since every time I try to do anything, I get harassed thanks to police wiretaps.
The World Health Organization says
but they then hand over to their informants for some reason.
McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
This portion of the news brought to you by Appliance Canada. This is usually market for thousands across Ontario, but because of the pandemic,
where did they send me for reporting that I didn't go for 3.5 months? Now you still won't send somebody to arrest me because you know I need health care.
KPT is coming back.
Sex offender reporting, right? For what? I'm not charged with anything related to a sex
offense.
offense.
More than 70 locations there for 6 to 12-year-olds. Mayor John Tory says they meet COVID safety guidelines.
These camps have been put together with the total involvement of Toronto Public Health.
Deputy Mayor Michael Thompson says the camps are a critical piece of the city's reopening efforts.
They provide young people with the important opportunities for social interaction, and they provide essential childcare for parents and caregivers.
Well, they used to
There's also a
teach you
virtual
stuff.
option
I
for
guess you
4
don't
to
do that
12-year-olds. They'll be able to travel the country
Watch the
without
lady
even
that said
leaving
this.
home.
This motherfucker has a job getting $120K a year fixing YouTube every day.
Registration for both options is a week from today. I'm Charlene Close.
And a group representing the majority of Ontario's long-term care homes says they're losing staff to places like Amazon, airports, and the film industry. The Ontario Long-Term Care Association says the staffing crisis is getting worse now that other industries need people like infection prevention and control specialists. We'll check gas next.
There's a human element to how it's responding.
Home in a whole new way with KitchenAid appliances.
We know,
and 8
but
thoughtful colors.
if this wasn't on, you wouldn't see my reaction to the computer. We know that too.
Look at the savings with KitchenAid during the Buy More, Save More event. Buy 3 qualifying appliances and save $300. Buy 4, save $500. Buy 5 or more, save $750. Plus, get access to mix and match.
Right.
Appliance Canada. Yet another way. We are here for your home, for your life.
You're not
Visit appliancecanada.com.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price will fall 2 cents at midnight to about $1.26.9.
Just imagine the mentality of somebody that does this all fucking day long. Fucking phone call.
DoorDash for the $10 minimum in terms of love.
Spin the wheel. Yes. Yes.
Excitement for the bigger spin scratch ticket is great at home.
Big spin.
That's a funny game. Every time I go to try to turn it off, everything just moves.
Man, your clay's getting airborne.
It's in my hair.
Play the Bigger Spin Instant Scratch Ticket today. You could win a spin on the Bigger Spin wheel for a guaranteed win up to $1 million.
680 News Time, 511.
Traffic weather together on the ones brought to you by Thornhill Toyota Airport. Shopper 680 here, Jordan.
I'm flying over the 401 and just below over the 401 in Leslie. Problems at Leslie near the 401 have cleared away northbound, so that's good news. On the 401 itself, you're going to find delays eastbound 401, 427 to the 400.
This is how you spend your hours and days, bro. You're mad, and you get called out for what you do. So you're going to attack everybody that doesn't like pedophiles. You're a fucking genius, bro.
Victoria Park to Kennedy collectors. Through Durham is slow going on the east 401 from Westy to the 412, and from Dixon to approaching Stevenson. West 401, delays from the 400 to Dixon, and west of Pure Ontario Express, Mavis collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. From the 680 traffic center, Zach Boat, Steve.
Still a heavy drive on the northbound DVP from Gerrard to north of Lawrence. You'll also find it still slow north 404 just through 16th Avenue. Northbound 400, again, not too bad, but busy. Rutherford to north of Major Mackenzie. We have the West Gardner slow from York to west of Strawn, and West QEW busy west of Bronte to west of Guelph line. North 427 still jammed up from the 407 to Highway 7, and northbound 410's a slow go from Steeles to north of Queen. Thornhill Toyota has a rich history, and you can be part of it with lease or finance rates now as low as 0% on select models. It's time to Toyota at Thornhill Toyota, Dufferin, north of Steeles. With the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
A little bit of a chill to the air.
I'm not allowed to turn the phone on. See what's happening.
Now we have to wake up to 1 degree. Winds will be much lighter, around 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Could see a little bit of drizzle, even a slight risk of freezing drizzle after midnight. This is going to be mainly off into extreme eastern and northern Durham region. Otherwise, partly cloudy tomorrow and 10 degrees. It's overcast again Thursday with 7 degrees. Could see a little bit of rain, but it's that wind that is back gusting up to about 70 kilometers. kilometers per hour. And then sunshine from Friday
all
through
this to find out if we're even producing sound.
degree.
That's
Right
it.
now, it's 1
I've
degree
spent
of
the
your
last 30 minutes just trying to see if we're
Now
producing
the
sound.
Dynamic Funds Market Minute, Richie.
James, good evening. The TSX fell from a record high. It was down 80 points, less than 0.5% to 18,874. On the lagger board, we find some cannabis and energy stocks at the price of oil down to $64.90. Gold was higher today, up to $1,740 US dollars the ounce. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell. It was down 127 points to 32,825 as U.S. government bond yields again edged a bit higher. Ford Motor Company lower by 5.25%, and Boeing was down almost 4%. S&P down 6 points, the NASDAQ up 11, and the Canadian dollar keeps on rising, now at 80.31 cents U.S. This is 680 News.
Being active is better than being reactive. Dynamic Funds doesn't just take what the market gives. Ask a financial advisor about active management and learn more at dynamic.com.
I think it's just corned beef on steroids. So I make my Reubens from pastrami. I know that is not according to oil, but it is mighty good. And of course, then you use a sort of 1,000 dressing, some fresh sauerkraut, squeeze all the juice out of it with your bare hands, and Swiss cheese, and you are in business. A good rye or pumpernickel rye.
Yeah, you gotta have the pumpernickel. You know, it's really authentic. The dark one. So, by the way, you don't make it.
Or a mix of everything in between. Our sleep experts have seen it all and will sleep. I can sleep 5 hours max. I'm working on it.
Nuages est agorbique, Killarney, Greenstone, Hornpeak et Dryden. Et c'est généralement nuageux pour le sud de l'Ontario avec des possibilités d'averses de neige et de bruine par endroits. Donc, dans le sud-ouest, du côté de Windsor, c'est généralement nuageux. 30% de probabilité de bruine ce soir. Risque de bruine verglaçante au cours de la nuit avec un minimum de 0. À Toronto, c'est nuageux. Température stable, près de +1. Pour Kingston, c'est aussi nuageux, minimum -3 avec un refroidissement aérien de -6 au cours de la nuit. Pour les régions du nord de l'Ontario, pour ce soir et cette nuit, c'est dégagé pour les Grands Sudbury, Northbig, Ogama, Chapleau, Kirkland Lake, Timiskaming Shores et Oakland.
Mass vaccination clinics open tomorrow for those 80 and over, and the mayor and city's top doctor got a tour of one location ahead of the launch.
47-year-old Adam Strong of Oshawa has been found guilty of first degree in the death of 18-year-old Rory Haché, and not guilty of first degree murder in the death of 19-year-old Candace Fitzpatrick, but guilty of manslaughter. He'll be sentenced in April.
For these stories and more, go to 680news.com.
Into New York, they were shuttled onto Lower Manhattan right alongside the Jewish community, and there were a great number of Jewish butchers there. But of course, for them, pork was verboten. It's not kosher, so they had corned beef, and so the Irish learned to like corned beef rather than corned pork. And it took off for St. Patrick's Day as the traditional Irish-American dish. But in Ireland, it's more likely to be pork.
Again, with Meathead Goldman, we're learning all kinds of stuff. Now, the cabbage, this is the interesting thing about the cabbage, because you've also got a recipe for sweet and smoky grilled honey butter cabbage.
Oh,
what's that all about?
You've been hanging out on that website. You got sucked in. You can spend hours if you're not careful down there, pal. Cabbage grills up rather nicely. You've got to do it over a low temperature, usually indirect heat, not right over the coals, but off to the side. And I mix a little honey and butter together, make a honey butter. And as it cooks, you can baste it with that and try to get it down in between the leaves. And it's marvelous. So if you're going to do smoking your corned beef, then you might as well grill your cabbage.
Now, Meathead, typically when you smoke, what kind of wood are you using in the smoker? What chips?
You know, a lot of people obsess over what kind of wood. It's not a huge difference. There are some woods that are very strong, like mesquite, and hickory tends to be very strong. But the other woods, the fruit woods and the nut woods, there's not a strong difference in their flavor. I challenge anybody out there who really thinks that there's a vast difference to taste a piece of smoked meat and tell me what wood was used. I mean, is it, let me see now, is it shagbark hickory, or is it pig nut hickory? Is it kiln dried or air dried? Is it from Arkansas or from New York?
Douglas is there. 2 bodies discovered, but only after someone in the building here noticed a terrible smell. Toronto police cannot even determine the sex or ages of the deceased because of decomposition. The call came in just before 9 a.m. The police activity here at 295 Shooter Street has been focused up on the 16th floor. This man lives on the 15th.
I did smell something different yesterday. I thought it was just the wind because they're going to redo the sewers around here anyways.
Police do not believe there's any threat to the public from all this. A sudden death investigation team has been leading the case. Whether it's going to be turned over to the homicide squad or left up to 51 Division detectives, that has still not been announced. At Shooter in Parliament, I'm Mark Douglas.
What do you think?
The Federal Conservative Party says it will trigger a committee investigation into the...
So that we can hear from communities, entrepreneurs, workers, and others who will be affected by the transaction.
Conservative critics say his party, or the party, has yet to take a position on the buyout, but says any such purchase should come with commitments around new jobs, expanding rural internet and wireless access, as well as keeping prices low. 19-year-old from Brampton facing driving charges after being caught going more than double the speed limit of the 400. OP say the driver was nabbed going 221 kilometers per hour at Highway 9 just before 1 this morning. The driver's vehicle has been impounded, license suspended for 7 days. In the U.S., lawyers for a former Minneapolis police officer charged in George Floyd's death are asking the judge to admit evidence of a previous arrest as jury selection continues.
The first hour of today's hearing was debate over whether a prior interaction that George Floyd had with police in 2019